Greetings, Autobots, and welcome back. We're going to go back to the past once again, but this time to the distant past of 2001, with an RID 2001 themed figure, a show that I grew up watching and have a lot of love for. But this is a figure that comes to us from the Legacy United toy line. This is the Transformers Legacy United Robots in Disguise 2001 universe, Sideburn. A repaint slash slight redeco of the Legacy Evolution Shadow Striker, though with a more befitting design of Sideburn for the Robots in Disguise 2001 show. Now, I quite like this guy. Right off the bat, he is definitely the spitting image of the character, though there is a few key points missing, namely this part here is supposed to sort of clip onto his shoulder, and the window's meant to be up the way, but you can remove it. It is on a clear joint, which I will get to that in a bit, but you guys already know how I feel about important joints being made of entirely translucent or clear plastic. And he actually has a decent bit of paint on him as well. He's got a heaping of white on the legs, the shins here, the chest, with some silver and red, and his crouch piece, and his face is absolutely caked with paint. So for Deluxe, he's actually surprisingly well made in terms of his colours. He feels sturdy, well put together, nothing really wibbles or falls apart, though I did have to shave down a few tabs for transformation just to get things to really clip in together, but apart from that, he's pretty solid. We'll just get a closer look at the figure here, just all around. Just a really nice looking figure. I especially love this head sculpt. It's the spitting image of the show model. Got this little clear visor. I like how they had different coloured eyes too. I'm not sure, is it light pipe? No, there's no light pipe, just painted eyes. Nice sort of metallic blue for the face. Almost got like a roadster helmet to him. And he's also got a little painted Autobot insignia there. Just bring it in for you guys. So you can look at that. Oops. You're not the camera there. And something as well that I quite like, the clear plastic for the window is actually a bit glossy. It has a almost glitter finish to it, which I think looks really cool. So yeah, in terms of robot, this guy's actually pretty solid. And I forgot to mention, I'm starting this off in robot mode as he is packed in robot mode. So I'm going to be doing that for figures, like new figures from now off, or from now. If they're packed in vehicle mode, I'll start in vehicle mode. If they're packed in robot mode, you know the drill. So accessories, what are we looking at? Sideburn comes with 3 accessories, mainly his roof piece, this little bumper piece which you can tab on here, and this here. It forms a little gun, or you can have him hold it as, I don't know, maybe like a truncheon or something like that. I don't recall him using anything like this in the show though. But what you're really supposed to do is to create a more show accurate look for him. You take the bumper piece and then connect it to the gun like so. Just make sure that when you're connecting it, this part is at the top, so it almost makes a kind of crossbow sort of look. But this is how the original figure had the bumper. It was a part of it could be sort of set like this, and I think that looks pretty good. I always love the asymmetry of the Robots in Disguise 2001 designs, especially X-Brawn. Now, I covered X-Brawn quite a while ago on the show, and I'm really hoping they do an X-Brawn next, because X-Brawn's my favourite of the Autobot brothers, and with Omega Prime coming out this year, RID 2001 is getting a lot of deserved love. So, let's talk Poseability, because I'm actually pretty intrigued with this guy. We have for rotation at the head, can swivel side to side, can look up that far and down that far. Shoulders pull way more than a 90, they can go completely all the way around. You've got full swivel at the forearm and the wrist. Same goes for the other side, though you just have to be a little bit careful with the clear plastic. Swivel at the forearm, wrist swivel. Now this can collapse inwards. You can either have it up the way like this or back the way. Me personally, I prefer to have it sitting like this, just so it creates a more streamlined look. Now, legs can do the full splits, And these panels here can move back for the leg. The legs can move back that far, just about normal 90 knees. And the knees can be held into place by these little painted tabs. And the toes have a really good rocker. They can move up that far and can't move back. So the Poseability is actually pretty impressive. Honestly, I've heard people dogging on this guy, but the Poseability is solid. He can get into some pretty snazzy poses. Oh, and of course, he has a waist swivel, which is always appreciated. I keep forgetting that joint. That's one thing that I've always kicked myself over. We keep missing the waist swivels. I guess you could say it's a bit of a waste. So if you want, you can stance them up in some pretty cool action poses. This one's my personal favorite, the gun shield. Just a really cool looking figure. The coattails, honestly, a lot of people dog on these, but I kind of like them because you can almost give them the impression that they're coattails, which the original figure had big car parts hanging off the back, but I think these are a lot more streamlined and just pleasant to look at. And that's about it for the robot mode. And yeah, as I said before, a really nice, good looking figure. It poses well, very vibrant, pleasant to pose, fun to mess around with. My only complaint is this. The shield is entirely clear plastic. Now, if the shield itself was the clear part, that's not the issue. I would prefer if they used inserts, but this is the problem. The joint itself is made out of clear, and right out of the box, you may be able to see there's a slight stress mark right out of the packet. So I am very careful with this. Instead of, in fact, I'll give you a little bit of advice. When you're moving the shield, move it very gently, but if you're moving the arm, grab the fist and then use it to move the arm instead of pushing the shield. So that means that makes you, can't speak. It allows you to not worry about stressing the plastic. So, transformation time. Sideburn, I was about to say Sideswipe. Sideburn is actually sporting the same transformation as the Shadow Striker, but it's quite intriguing. It's a solid transformation. So first you're just going to want to take the arms and extend them up the way. Make sure this roof section is completely straight, and we'll come back to that in a bit. Come around to the back and just lift these up to get yourself a bit of a grip. And what you're going to want to do is take this back part and extend it out on these double hinges. Straighten them out. Straighten that out. Then what you're going to want to do is just pull these bits and swing them around. So you have it looking like this. It's the mother of all grabby hands. It actually kind of looks like a monster from that angle. Looks like a gun. So what you're going to want to do now is just take these pieces here, angle them slightly, and that allows you to clear the crotch, and take this panel and then just flip it out so you have it sitting like this. Take the feet and angle them like such. And there's a little method I have for this. You're going to want to bring these legs down just a bit, make sure the waist is straight as can be, and then you're just going to want to push with your fingers and your thumbs these bits over, and then you're going to want to push these wheel wells tabs into these slots on these pieces. Now there's tabs and slots on the feet that will go in, but we also have tabs and slots on the inner thigh. Now these can be a little bit tricky, so you just kind of have to squeeze the legs in, but just give them a good push and they'll click in. Not a problem. It's not that difficult. Make sure we tab in the feet nice and securely. Take the side panels, close them up. Now, what we're going to want to do is bring these arms down. There are tabs that will go into these, or there's slots that will connect to these tabs right here. And there's tabs right here and right here that will connect to these slots on the top of the roof. So just get that squeezed in as best you can. Now what I like to do is collapse the roof down to the side. So when you bring it down, it doesn't, you can just squeeze on the arm without stressing the plastic. So give that a squeeze, and then just bring it in on this double hinge, provided the arm can stay in place. So we'll just be gentle as we can. Nice, there we go. And that just squeezes in nice and securely. Now for the final step, we will have to do a little bit of parts forming, but it's not a deal breaker. It's not the end of the world. It's not mission critical. You're just going to want to take the bumper from the gun, and it's the wrong way. I keep forgetting. I've done this multiple times, but you would think I would remember. And there's tabs right here that are going to go into slots on this piece right here. And yeah, that's it. There we have Sideburn in his vehicle mode. And I do have my qualms with it. My one major gripe is it's not accurate to the Dodge Viper, which was the original car. But for what this is, on its own merits, it's a pretty fun, solid transformation. And it's a fun figure in its own right. So we'll just get a look at the lovely detail. I love this sort of metallic, glossy blue flame detail that they've used. Because in the show, he had those on his Dodge Viper mode. And he's got some gorgeous yellow tinted windshield and side views, which looks quite nice. I'm not too keen that there's no lights or grille detail here. It's a bit disappointing. But I like to imagine that this is a Cybertronian version of his alternate mode. So for the rest of the car, see, no bumper. Would have been nice if we had some tail lights picked out in paint, but hey, it's a Deluxe, not the end of the world. It does have nice painted wheels though. And the wheels themselves, in something I've never actually seen before, the pegs themselves are actually painted silver to match the wheel. I've never actually seen that before in a Transformer. I think that's quite unique. He cleans up nicely. There's no kibble hanging off. Just a very solid, well put together vehicle mode. I don't have many complaints. I just wish he was a Dodge Viper, and maybe we will get a more accurate version of this mold someday. But as it stands, I like it a lot. This is a really solid vehicle mode. And you can bring in his gun here. And you can either plug it into the roof, which I'm a little bit scared of because you have to press down, and I don't like pressing down the plastic, so I never do that. Oh no, come on. Ah. Oh, phew. Scares me to death every time. But if you want to be a bit more conservative about it, you could just plug it into the back. Though it doesn't have the most solid connection. In fact, I don't even think it actually can fit. No, it can't. Completely wrong shape. So you have that. Overall, while the vehicle mode has its faults, namely not being accurate and the windshield being entirely clear, or the roof being entirely clear, it still lends itself to a fun transformation and a solid looking vehicle mode that makes me excited to see more RID 2001 bots in the future. So, to close it out, we'll transform him back into his robot mode. Now I'm going to try just toy sounds for this. So as soon as we start transforming, I'm just going to let the toy speak for itself. But I will give you a little bit of advice here. For separating this roof, just work your finger or work your nail and then gently pull it up here so you can free it from these tabs on either side. And once you do that, you're good to go. have Sideburn back in his robot mode. We'll just add the shield for or the bumper piece for finishing touch. Actually, yeah, we'll get him as gone. Sideburn is quite the interesting character. From origins in a TV show where his toy was arguably one of the most frustrating to transform and is considered by many to be the hardest Transformers toy to ever actually transform because of its dodgy clear plastic and clearance issues. But one that received an update many years later that I think actually manages to stand the test of time and prove itself worthy of the character's name. I'd strongly recommend, if you can find this guy, definitely pick him up. If you can get him for cheap, either secondhand or buy him new from the shops, definitely pick him up. He gets my recommendation. And I think that's about it for this video, so don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment if you enjoyed this video. Check out my other playlists and videos for any other Transformers related content that tickles your fancy. This is the Autobot SMR review for the Transformers Legacy United RID 2001 Universe Sideburn. Blade Nag, that's a mouthful. This is Autobot SMR, signing off for the night. Autobots, transform and roll out to bed.
Till all